Can you believe it? We're already to the second to last module, and the LEGO Windswept Savannah Village project is nearly complete. When it comes to the Windswept Savannah, you probably know just how chaotic these biomes can be. In the last episode, I embraced that with the beginnings of a second tier to our village, where you'll find a meeting area high above the other acacia structures. Today, we're further expanding the upper reaches of our village with a rather unique addition. I'd say it's a surprise, but it's literally in the title. We're adding a happy Ghast. There's a lot of bricks to lay down, so hey, let's get to building. Today's module, much like the last, is going to be highly irregularly shaped. It'll be going atop the arch between the tannery and the blacksmith, and there's actually a pretty decently sized platform to build on here. Large enough that we should have no problem adding an additional village house, and some other surprises as well. But first off, we have to build up a lot of terrain. And as I build up the terrain, I'm going to further expand the platform so we have some breathing room for the structure as well. That'll give us a place to put more mobs and figures. A convenient advantage of this module as opposed to the last one is that we don't have to worry about the wiring on the underside. Of course, there is no connection coming from the module below. Rather, it's going to loop on over the top down into this module. It will provide some complications later on, but that's future me's problem to worry about. For now, that means the rest of the terrain actually comes together fairly easily. Next, I'm installing these rather simple supports. These are just what the larger plates on top are going to rest on. Once again, this is just a perfect example of Minecraft's simple construction. These basic elements just have a lot of clutch power between them. For once, I'm including minimal paths here, so there's going to be less shenanigans than normal when it comes to creating the surface layer of this part of the module. And somehow, against all odds, I'm not having a whole lot of reddish-brown pieces break on me today. That's got to be a good omen. Especially when you get to these larger plates, things can get really dicey really fast, and it does hurt to crack one of these 6x8s in half, physically and mentally. The inspiration for this model came from one of the new summer 2026 LEGO Minecraft sets, also named the Gas Station. LEGO, as usual, is a bit late to the party here on this one, but hey, better late than never. The set is the most expensive and largest by volume of all the 2026 sets, and it ranks 14th in terms of all-time LEGO Minecraft piece counts. The US price of $110 is absolutely insane, but there's definitely some cool stuff here. There's brand new prints for the Dried Ghast, Baby Ghast, and Ghastling, along with two brand new player skins, the Ghast Keeper and the Aeronaut. The build itself is really quite fun, crossing through both a dripstone and a lush cave, and you know I'm a sucker for a vertical model, and there's plenty of verticality to be found here. I think the biggest letdown of the set, aside from the atrocious price, is the actual Happy Ghast. Where the smaller Ghast variants all use specialized printed elements, the largest version opts for exclusively brick-built detailing, and unfortunately, I think that's to its detriment. I certainly want to include a Happy Ghast in this module, but I don't think this is going to quite do the trick. So instead, I've come up with this custom version, heavily based off the original custom Ghast I did ages ago for my LEGO Minecraft Nether display. The big challenge was, of course, adding the harness to this model, and giving that harness a bit of depth. I've accomplished that using 1x2 jumper elements, extending the width of the Ghast from 8 studs to 9 studs where the harness begins. The beauty of this design, which uses no printed elements, is that it's easy to switch this to any possible color you could want. We'll attach the Happy Ghast to the model here in a bit, but let's go back to the rest of the build first. So this next sub-assembly is rather fun. This is where the Ghast Station part of the module comes in. This is what I envision to be a sort of docking station for the Happy Ghast, a place where you could queue up and board the Ghast. And because I have a few spare lights left from Light My Bricks, I've put 2 torches on the end here. And you can see that I've been able to hide the wire between the 2 layers of profile bricks. All of this is going to extend outward from the terrain itself, hovering above the blacksmith below. I think it's a fun little feature, another player-built addition to the Savannah Village. And here, built into the subassembly, is the extent of the pathing I'll do here. It all worked out pretty slick since I was going to have to be using some snot construction anyway. Behind this, I'm going to be putting another village house, and we're going to start that off by putting down the acacia door. Next, I'm going to be making a simple change off to the side here, putting in some Technic bricks for future use. These are going to be very important later, as you'll see, but we just want to make sure this is firmly integrated into the terrain so that it's not going to pop out later. Then I'm going to simply build up that last layer of dirt, leaving room for the acacia log flooring of the small house and space for the wires to continue on up to the next module. The house that I'm going to be putting here, internally known as Small House 2, is nearly identical actually to the farmhouse that we did in episode 2. It's just swapped for red instead of flame yellowish orange. You can get 3 different colors of these houses altogether. There's an orange variant as well, but this just kind of ends up being the perfect size for this place, and I love that we'll get some red in the display here too. Perhaps you noticed, but I'm trying something a bit different with this house. I've actually filled in the corners with a 1x1 column in each side, and that's to prevent light from spilling out of the house. That's definitely a problem we have with the farmhouse right now, just because the lights are so bright inside. So hopefully this will look more realistic and make sure that the light goes only where we want it to go. That is going to reduce the usable interior, but it's something that realistically most people aren't going to see anyway. So I figured it would be okay to forgo it this time around. The roof is the same familiar crazy combo of 1x2 brackets and 1x2 tiles that you've seen on all sorts of the other village structures that we've done throughout this series. And all the cables fit underneath, go out into this side column of terrain that we'll be building up next. Thanks once again to Light My Bricks for supplying the lights for this series. They look incredible and they've been a lot of fun to work with. If you're curious, most of what I'm making use of here are the tiniest micro lights in warm white for the torches, and those all connect into that little black box, which is the Dock 3. Now it's time to quickly tile. Nothing too elaborate, but I'm always glad when we can squeeze in a bit of that sweet, clicky-clacky tiling time. I'll be laying down some additional jumpers here actually, because I want to make a removable section. It's going to help me access that dock a lot easier when I have to rig this up to the final module. This remaining section of terrain is largely hollow so that it can easily fit the wires through it. I've added as much detail as I can with some diorite blocks as well as some coal ore on the side. Attaching this will be relatively easy. All I'll need to do is remove just this lip of the village house so this can sneak on in underneath. This section of terrain combines with what we made in the last module to create one last final arch that we'll place the last village building atop of. It'll all make more sense once we combine this into the larger world. But yeah, all this to say is that we're still going taller yet, don't you worry. Let's go ahead and get the lights turned on here. We've got the 2 torches on the dock, the torch in front of the house, and the LEDs on the inside to spill light out the windows and out of our Savannah door, and it looks brilliant. All these lights just give the whole build such a warm and cozy feel, which also just complements the warm palette of the Savannah very well. It's great stuff. Next, I'll plop down some grass stems. Sorry that I bumped the dock so much while doing this. It's not as satisfying as normal, but it's gonna have to do the trick. And remember that little axle hole that we left earlier? That's exactly where this guy is going to connect. It just gives the fun illusion that the Happy Ghast is flying alongside the build. I haven't done so yet, but if there is enough desire and demand for it, I would consider doing a tutorial on this guy as well. Let me know what you think, or if there's any changes you would like to see to this specific design. The other fun part of this is that it would be really easy to swap the colors from blue to any other dyed variant of the harness. The other figure that I want to add here is the Stone Mason, the 3rd and final Savannah Villager variant included in the Pillager Outpost set just from last year. It's so great that the Savannah Village in particular has gotten so much variety for its villagers. It just brings this world to life a bit more. And just like that, I can get this added into the larger display, and you can really see how that fills out the space, completes that final arch, and sets up the series for its finale next episode. I'm not quite done here though, as there's one small addition that I want to make yet, and that's another pile of hate bales behind this module. As these upper sections have been coming together, it's actually created a nice open area back here. And I also took some time to make some better coarse dirt in this zone as well. It just helps break up the terrain a bit more. There's definitely no shortage of details to be found in this space. I do love how all these individual layers have been coming together. You get so many different platforms and scenes, especially here at the back, and it still feels all reasonably accessible by means of that staircase that travels up throughout the entirety of the build. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's episode. Before you hop out, I've got a few quick reminders. The first is that you'll be able to see the completed Savannah Village along with some other fun mocks of mine at the Brick Falls LEGO Convention in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. For more details, follow the link I've got in the description. And also don't forget that I'm currently hosting a LEGO Minecraft building challenge on Discord with all sorts of epic LEGO prizes. There's still plenty of time to get an entry in. There's only one final episode to go, and it's my hope to have that out before the end of the month. I've just got a few final changes I want to make, but if you do want to see a version of that video early, you can do so by becoming a channel member. This is going to be your last chance to get your name featured in this series. So sign up before the end of the week if you want to see your name appear in that final video. As always, thank you so much for sticking it out here to the end, and I hope you have yourself a great life.